soon. Okay, good morning class.
Good morning, sir.
So today we're looking at the cycle test 4 of our school of November 2022. Alright, so let's look at the first question. The question says, have a seat, my girl, if you don't mind. The grade 10 learners wrote the mathematics test out of 50. The marks for one class are given below. Are these numbers in order? No. So it's going to be beneficial for us to get these numbers in order. Okay. Can somebody give me the numbers in order, please? 17, 19, 20, 23, 26, 28, 30, 31, 33, 33 again, 34, 37, 39, 42, 44 and 46. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 6, 8, 10, 12. That's correct. Okay. Let's look at the first question. The question says the modal mark. So the mode is the number that occurs the most, not so. So the mark that occurs the most is 33. Okay, let's look at B. You can see the 33. B, the median. The median is the middle number of sorted data, not so. So the median here, since it's 16, so 16 divided by 2 is 8, so it's the 8th and the 9th number. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So those two numbers are in the middle. So it's going to be 31 plus 33 divided by 2 is going to give you 32. The mean. How do you calculate the mean? It's the sum of the numbers over the number of numbers. Not so?
Yes, sir.
So for your mean, how many numbers are here? 16. So let's add the numbers up. It's going to be 19 plus 17 plus 20 plus 23, 26, 28, 30, 31. 31, there's two 33s, 34, 37. You don't have to add the numbers in order. No? You can add the numbers from the table as well, doesn't matter. It's 39 plus 42 plus 44 plus 46. That gives us an answer of 502. Is that correct?
Yes.
So 502 divided by 16, of course, gives you an answer of 31,38. Okay. Let's look at 1.2. What percentage of learners achieved a mark above 80%? So this test is out of 50. So how much out of 50 is 80%? 40. For those of you who don't know, we got that. We would have said x divided by 50 is times 100. So they give us 80%. Then you divide by 100, you times by 50, you get then 40. Okay. So how many people got more than 40? 3. So they want to know what percentage. So it's going to be 3 out of 16 learners times 100. So 3 out of 16 times 100, 18.75%. Very close to 19% of these learners got got the percentage of 80%. Okay. Draw a box and whisker diagram. People, for the box and whisker diagram, I need the 5 number summary, not so?
Yes, sir.
So let's look at that quickly. So the 5 number summary consists of the lowest value, Q1, Q2, Q3, and the maximum value. Okay. So the lowest value, of course, is 17. The highest value is 46. Q2 we worked out already, which is 32. Now, as you can see, there's an even amount of numbers here. So that one forms part of the bottom set and that forms part of the top set. If it was an odd amount of numbers, I would have crossed it out. Not so. So there's 8 on either side, so I count 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you see there's 2 numbers in the middle?
Yes, sir.
So that's going to give you 23 plus 26 divided by 2, which is 24.5. And of course Q3 is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Add those two together. It's going to give you 37 plus 39 over 2. Will give you an answer of 30. So here we now have enough information to draw the box in this diagram. Okay. So we always start off with a scale. So we start 15. If I start at 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. As you can see, you'll use a ruler to make your scale. Okay. Before you draw a box in scale, you must have a scale. Okay. So it's going to be 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. Okay. People, if the scale is going to, or if the axis is going to be too long, then I would have gone in tens. Can you see that, people? Otherwise, if it was going to be so small for 3 or 4 strokes, then I would have then made it. Maybe every unit would have been 3. If it's still too small, then I would make in every unit 2. Okay, and also on this one. I try and make it as big as possible also. Okay. So the lowest value get a dot at 17, say that's 15. 16, 17 is midway. The maximum value is 45. Just over that, so it's 46. Q2 gets a stroke at 32, so it's the 30, 31, 32, approximately there. Q2 is 32. Sorry, I got that. 24.5. So 24.5 is very close to 25. Not so? And then 38, so it's 35. 38 is approximately. Can you see that, people? There's your box. Here's my whiskers. Okay. You guys understand? So let's look at the next question. The next question says, the same class then wrote a physics test and the percentage were recorded in the frequency table. Okay. Calculate the estimate mean percentage of the physics test. So here we've got the distribution table, people. Okay. So to work out our mean, we find the midpoints of these classes. Not so. What's 20 plus 30? 50 divided by 2? 25. 30 plus 40? 70 divided by 2? 35. Then 45. Then 55, 65, 75, 85. Oh, is this now? Yeah, it's not normal. Normally our classes are evenly spaced. Okay, it's not very seldom. I have this first time I see something.
So I think they count in 15.
15?
No, sir, no, so it's actually 100.
Okay, so that must have been a mistake. Okay. But okay, let's work with what they got. People, this is not normal, no? So let's then go with what we have, so it's 90. Okay. So to work out your mean, we firstly say, okay, how many people are in this class? 16, eh? And you can confirm it by adding these values up. So it's 3, 7, 7 plus 6 is 13, 14, 15, 16. So yes, it's 16. Okay. So what we do is we divide it by 16. So it's going to be 25 times 2 plus 35 times 1 plus 45 times 4 plus 55 times 6 plus. Huh? So 65 times 0, you don't need to write that, plus 75 times 1 plus 90 times 2. Okay. Yes? Sorry? Just put the money there. Alright, so what we have? 25 times 2 plus 35 times 1 plus 45 times 4 plus 55 times 6 plus 65 times 0 plus 75 times 1 plus 90 times 2. That gives us 850 over 16. So you divide by 16, 53,125. Is that correct? Huh? 53,13. Okay. So that is how we calculate the average. Okay. Then we ask, in which interval will you find the upper quartile? People, for the upper quartile, that is 3 over 4 times the number they are, which is 16. So it's going to be 3 over 4 times 16. It's going to be 12 over here, the 12. So in other words, it's the 12th person, or the 12th number. Okay. So let's go here. So at the end of this class I've considered 2 people. No? At the end of this class I've considered 3. At the end of this class 7. At the end of this class 13. So that means to say the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th and the 13th person is in that category. But we're looking for 12. So the 12th person is in this category, of course. So x has to be greater than or equal to 50 but less than 60. Okay. Let's look at question 2. Okay, so what I want to do is I'm just going to pause the video quickly, and then I'm going to get the grid. Okay. Okay. So this is from the answer book. The question paper and memo can be found in the description box below. Okay. So here, I thought I was going to get a better grid in this, but anyway, let's work with what we got. We are told on the sketch on the grid provided in the answer book the graph of P and S for x is greater than or equal to 0 but less than or equal to 360. Clearly show all intercepts and asymptotes. So we know the one graph that has asymptotes is your tan graph. Okay. So you would be drawing the -3 tan graph. Alright, so what we do is we press table, first mode, table, which is 7, and you calculate this, it will be 3. So now we press -3 tan x. So to check where your x is, you can't see clearly here where your x is, should be here somewhere. Yes. So you press alpha. Okay. So we're drawing the graph from 0, and the g of x you just press equal to, because I only want to draw one graph, I don't want to confuse you. You start at 0 and you want to end at 360. Okay. So the steps on the graph. For your sine graph, your steps is 90. For your tan graph, your steps is 45. Okay. Or you can make it 15s as we had when we drew the graph initially. Okay, so we know the shape of the tan graph. So 0 is 0. Now at 45, now if you look at this here, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 90 divided by 6 is 15. So each one represents 15 here. Can you see that? So it's 15, 30, 45 is here. Can you see that? 45, 60, 75, 90. So yes. So this one again, what's happening at 45? It's negative 3. Okay, so there's going to be negative 3 here on this line. But as it's going closer to 90, you'll see this is an asymptote here. That's why you're going to get an error if you look at this value at 90. Can you see that? It is an asymptote, so the graph is going to come close, but doesn't touch that point. Then when you go at 90, 105, 120, 135, which is this point here, you're going to get again 0. No, 135, no, I can't be 0. 135 is 3. Okay? 135 is 3. 180 is 0. And that is 1, 2, 3. This is 1, 2, 3. Here is going to get again negative 3, which is approximately here. Okay, and we just at least draw one of these points here. Okay? So the graph is going to come close to this axis here, but doesn't touch you again. Okay? But because this is fairly small, but as we know when we drew these graphs, the graph would look like something like this. Okay, the graph comes close to asymptotes but never touch. Okay. Then you go on, and where's the next asymptote? The next asymptote is at 180 was 0 as I indicated there. 225 was negative 3. 270 is again an asymptote. So on this line here, x is equal to 270. Okay. And then 1, 2, 3 will be at 3. 360 will be 0. So again the graph comes close to asymptote but never ever touches. So that is a tan graph. And this is the graph of P of x. Okay, since there's more than one graph on the system of axis, I of course write down which is P and which is S. Okay. So the next graph is going to be the cos of x graph. So we put again in a calculator, AC. So you press AC twice. So it's the cos of x graph I'm drawing now. We said for the cos graph, your steps is, you're going to start at 0, end at 360, you're going to have steps of 90. Which means to say it's going to make his calculation every 90 degrees. So at 0 it's 1. At 0, x is 0, y is 1. At 90 it's 0. At 180 is negative 1. So I'm going to put that in there. 180 and negative 1. 270 and 0. 360 and 1. Okay, so I draw the graph. Freehand, no? And there's the graph. That is your cos graph, which is the S of x graph. Okay. So that's that. Let's go to the next question. In the next question we are told, what is this here? Oh, that is from the answer. Okay. So here we are told, okay, where's my marker? It's behind here now. Okay, I'll just move it afterwards. Okay. So now the question says, hence or otherwise. So if it says hence, I must use the previous answer. And the previous answer here was the sketch. Not so. Hence or otherwise, write down the period of P. Now, what is P? P is a tan graph. Okay. So the period is time taken to complete a full cycle. One full cycle. So you see from start to end. Here's one full tan cycle. Can you see here? This part is the half of the first cycle, the other half is coming this side. There's a half, and this is the first half, this is of course the second half. Can you see this part of the graph is actually this part of the graph? Can you see that? Whilst that part of the graph is, it is this one. Okay? Can you see it's going through 0 and that 180 and 0 and that 135 and 3. Can you see that? So that's basically what your graph is going to look like. So what is the period of the P graph is of course 180 degrees. The time taken to complete one full cycle. If you're looking at the S graph, okay, from start to finish, the S graph completes itself in how many degrees? 360. You see it's starting there, going down to the minimum, coming up to its starting point again. Can you see that? So that is 360 degrees there. Okay. So that's that. Then it says, write down the number of solutions. People, when do we say two graphs equal to each other? Points of intersection. So the solutions is where the graphs actually intersect. Okay. And how many points of intersection are there? There's only one. Can you see that?
Yes.
So how many solutions are there? One solution. Therefore one solution. Okay. Is it two? Yep, two. Sorry. Must be two. It is here and there. Okay. Sorry about that. Any other questions you guys got with regards to this? No? Then you're told that the sketch below are the graphs of f of x is equal to a sin x and g of x equal to cos x plus q, where x is greater than or equal to 0 but less than or equal to 360. Okay. So the first question says, write down the value of a. Write down the value of a. People, a is the. Sorry? Dan gaan die guys toe. You win the bell, rings so second break. Yeah. Okay. So this here is what, people, that is to do with the amplitude of the graph. Not so. So if I can look at the value of a here, the value of a for cos was 1 and the amplitude of the graph. So what is the amplitude? From the neutral to the maximum. That distance is your amplitude here. So if you look at this graph here, the cos of x is the sine of x. You see it starts at 0, it normally starts, it goes to 2. If I draw the rough sine graph here, that was normally 0 and 1, minus 1. Okay? That is the basic sine of x graph with the 1 in front. But because the graph is starting at 0, but the maximum value is now 2, and the minimum value is negative 2. So what is the distance from the neutral to the maximum? It's 2 units. So the amplitude of this is 2, and your a value is of course 2. Okay. So the graph is actually f of x is equal to 2 sine x. Okay. Then let's look at the g of x graph. G of x is the cos of x graph. So I look at the cos of x graph, as we had in the previous sum, this is what your cos of x graph looks like in 360. That is 1 and minus 1. Can you see the shape is still the cos graph? Can you see that? What's the amplitude of this graph? 1. From neutral to maximum is 1. Can you see it? That's your neutral to maximum is 1. But what do you notice about this graph? That is normally at 1, but now it's at 2. This is normally at negative 1, but now it's at 0. This is normally at 0, but now it's at normally at 0. But now it's at 1. 90 is at 1. Can you see that? So what do you notice about this graph? It shifted 1 unit up. And this is to do with the Q value. Can you see that? So your Q value is 1. So the g of x graph is, g of x is equal to cos x plus 1. Okay. So that's that. Then now the question says the range of f. People, what is the range? All possible y values. Not so. So if you're looking at f, f is the sine graph. Not so. This graph is the f graph. Okay. So the range is all possible y values. So as you can see, this graph exists at negative 2. And it goes all the way to 2. Can you see that, people? So that's the range of the graph. It's between negative 2 and 2. Okay. So how do I write that as an inequality? You say y must be greater or equal to negative 2 and y must be less than or equal to d. He's asking with regards to the amplitude of g. We already spoke about the amplitude. So the amplitude of this graph, of course, is 1. Okay. What are you doing with the phone, Michael? Calculator. You look like you're like sending messages. Yes, Michael. Sorry? The G graph. If you look at the G graph, it's the cos graph. You see, so this is the graph in question now. Okay. So from the neutral, can you see the middle to the maximum? That is your amplitude. Your neutral is 1, your maximum is 2. So what's the distance between it? 1. That's why the amplitude is 1. Okay. Well, does the memo say something else? Oh, okay. Let's look at the next one. 2.2. Just take this answers off here. In question 2.2, we are told for which values of x, for x in element of 0 to 360, well, what does this mean? It's from that point to this point here. Okay? Will f of x times g of x be greater than 0? People, what does greater than 0 mean? More than 0. Yes, what does that mean? It's positive. If something is more than 0, it's positive. If something is less than 0, it is negative. Not so. So, if you're looking at the f of x times the g of x graph must be positive. When do we multiply two numbers and the answer is positive? When will that be the case? Both is positive or both numbers are negative. So in other words, we must check whether both graphs is positive or both graphs is negative. So if we look at this graph of G, what do you notice? It's always positive. Not so. So we're never going to check where G is negative. Not so. So it's only where F is positive. Can you see here? So G is always positive. So now let's check where is F positive. F is positive from there to there. What do you notice? Thereafter, it's negative. Can you see the graph of G is always positive? No? So where is both positive? From 0 till 1. Can you see that, people? So let's write that as an inequality. We say now, of course, x is greater than 0, but we say Let's look 2.2.3. Write down the equation of h of x. If h is formed when g is reflected above the x-axis. So what's the rule if something is reflected in the x-axis? Reflected in x-axis, what happens? What sign change? Where does negative go to? To the reflected in the x-axis, y becomes negative. So if something is reflected in the y-axis, x becomes negative. As we did in normal functions, in normal parabolas, same story. So now if you're looking at, it's the graph of g of x. What is the graph of g of x? That is y is equal to cos of x plus 1. Can you see that, people? So if y becomes negative, what do I write? Negative y is equal to cos x plus 1. So this make that change there. So it's negative cos x minus 1. So that's reflected about the x-axis. And then shifted down 2 units. So what do I say? Minus 2. So y is equal to minus cos x minus 3. Because it's talking about h of x, so I put h of x is equal to. And there we go. Okay. Is there any confusion? Is there any confusion, people? Can you all see? It doesn't make much of a difference. Okay. Any other confusion? Right, let's carry on. So here we are told that the diagram below shows a cup with a volume of 117 pi centimeters cubed. So the volume is given as 117 pi centimeters cubed. The diameter is 60. So what is the radius? 60 over 2, which is 30 what? No, it's given in millimeters. Okay. So what do we notice from the offset? That the volume and the radius is not in the same SI unit.
Yes.
No, one is in millimeters and the other one is in centimeter cube. No? So to do calculations, it must be in the same SI unit. Otherwise, we're busy with the rate or ratio. Rate, and then it can be in 2 different quantities. But because we're looking at volume, it has to be the same. So how many centimeters is this? 3 centimeters. Why? Because there's 10 millimeters equals 1 centimeter. So if there's 30 millimeters, it's actually 3 centimeters. That's your radius. Make sense? People, how do you calculate the volume of this object? Volume is equal to area of base times height. What type of shape is this base? A circular base. What type of shape is this? Not cylinder base and it's a circle prism. No. It's a cylinder. The shape is a cylinder. It's a cylindrical prism. Okay? And the circular base. The base is a circle. Okay. So how do you calculate the area of the circle? Pi r squared times height. So what's the volume here? 117 pi is equal to pi times 3 squared times height, which is unknown.
That's what you want.
That's what you want, yes. Not so. So how do I get h on its own? Heights by pi times 3 squared. Pi times 3 squared. Of course that cancels. So H works out to be, put on a calculator, 117 pi. Whoops. H. 117 pi over. Okay, I didn't need the pi's, no, because the pi's would have cancelled each other out. Not so. The answer is 13 big ones. Okay. Is there any confusion there?
No, sir.
Yes. Sorry? Cube root. Why cube root? It's gonna talk to me a little. Yes. Right, next. If the cup is 80% full, determine the surface area of the water that touches the cup. If the cup is 80% full, determine the total surface area of the water that touches the cup. Okay, so if the cup is okay, so what we're looking at, let me just see if I'm right here. The part that's touching the cup is going to be that, this here, and only the basin. Can you see that? The top is not touching the cup. So 80%. It's going to be a different height. So if the volume, if the cup is 80% full, is 0.8 times the volume, which is 117 pi, is equal to pi squared, pi radius, which is 3 squared, times height. This is now this height here that we're calculating. Okay, this is called this height H1. Or the second height H2, whatever. Okay? I don't want you to get confused with those two. So to get that height on its own, I divide both sides by pi, 3 squared, or pi times 3 squared. So that cancels. So H1, or that height in this case, is going to be 0.8 times 117 divided by 9. It's going to give you a height of 10.4. 10.4 centimeters. So this is this height here. Alright. Now, how do you calculate? So you all agree is going to be, to calculate this here is total surface area. No? So the surface area, how do you calculate the total surface area of a cylinder? Perimeter of base times height plus twice area of base. Okay. How do you calculate the perimeter of a circle? 2 pi r. Not so. Times height plus 2 area of base power square. Since the top we're not considering, you see the top here we're not considering? So it's going to be 1 area of base. Not so. So it will be 2 pi, my radius is 3 times the height which I just calculated, 10.4 plus pi times 3 squared. Okay. Just put that in the calculator, 2 pi times 3. 2 pi times 3 times 10.4. I could have this place answer. Plus pi times 9. Gives you 357 over 5 pi. Which is 2 to 4.31. Sorry? What's wrong? Sorry? Okay, what does the memo have? Let's see. Okay, the memo and the question paper can be found in the description box below. Okay. So let's see. Where are we going along? Oh, the memo is at the bottom. So this one? No. 3.122. 80% of that's not correct. Did I see this paper? No, this firstly is not my handwriting. Okay, so it's not me. Okay. If you're looking at the total surface area, they didn't say it's 80% of the total surface area. What did they say it's 80% of? The volume. So it must be 80% of the volume, not 80% of the total surface area. There's a mistake here. Okay? You all agree? You all agree? So that's a mistake. Sorry about that. Wasn't me? Right. Yep, the cup is 80%. Right, because you must remember that the volume is not directly proportional to total surface area. Total surface area is 2-dimensional. And volume is 3-dimensional. So it's not going to have a direct effect. You understand what I'm saying? Because why it is 3 dimensions, it's not going to have the same effect as the area has. Okay? So that's the mistake there. Right, people, let's look at the next one. 2 identical concrete pillars are placed at the entrance of a building. Okay. Let's see quickly how long is this paper. Okay, 2 identical concrete pillars are placed at the entrance of a building. They are made up of rectangular prisms and a rectangular pyramid. The rectangular pyramid is 2 meters. Let's make it a bit bigger for the recording purposes. So the rectangular pyramid is 2 meters high. The rectangular pyramid is 2 meters high. Two meters high, 0.6 meters long, and the perpendicular height of the pyramid. Okay, so I think there's another mistake, no? The rectangular prism is supposed to have been prism here, no? Is 2 meters high. You all agree with that? That is was the rectangular prism. Okay. The perpendicular height of the pyramid is there, that is 0.8 meters there. L1 and L2 are the slanted heights. Okay. Let's go. The question says, so everything that they are telling us is in the diagram. Determine the volume of the concrete needed to build up the 2 pillars. So the volume of 1 is going to be the volume of the rectangular pyramid plus the rectangular base prism. Not so. They must be different. So how do you calculate the volume of a pyramid? Rectangular prism. How do you calculate the volume of a pyramid? It's going to be a third area of base times height plus the volume of the pyramid, the prism, sorry, area of base, which is L times B times height. This is the height one. This must be a different height, of course. Okay. So it's going to be a third. The area of this base Of course, the area of that base and this base is the same base. Not so? So how do you calculate the area of that? 0,5 times 0.6 times the height of the pyramid, which is 0,8, plus length, which is 0,5 times the breadth, which is 0,6 times the height, which is 2. Alright, there you go. So it's a third times 0.5 times 0.6 times 0.8 plus 0.5 times 0.6 times 2. It's going to give you 0,68. That's for 1. Not so? Meter squared. Therefore, for 2, for both, it will simply be 0,68 times 2. 1.36. Let's check if that's right. Okay, now I'm feeling better, you see? Centimeters cubed. 1,36 centimeters cubed. Okay. Meters cubed. I actually wrote it in. Okay. Meters cubed. Alright. Make sense, people? Right? Let's look at the next question. The next question says, determine the size of the area that must be painted. So in other words, we're going to calculate the total surface area of this item. Not so? The total surface area. Alright, so of course the calculation will be a bit bigger. So how do you calculate the total surface area? It's going to be perimeter of base times height plus twice area of base. I'm just going to work out the total surface area for 1, then I multiply 2 at the end. Is that okay? So if we're going to look at the total surface area of, let's start with this shape here. How do you calculate the perimeter of that, the total surface area? Perimeter of base times height plus twice area of base. Not so? So how do you calculate the perimeter of the shape? It's going to be 2 length plus 2 breadth. Not so? It's going to be 2 length plus 2 breadth times height of this object plus twice area of base. Now, am I going to consider this part here on top also for your external surface area? No. So, I'm just going to say area of base, which is length times breadth, plus. So that is for the right prism, the rectangular prism. Then for the pyramid, the base of that pyramid I'm not going to consider. Why? Because it's on top of that rectangular prism. Can you see that? So in other words, how many of these faces are there? No, measuring at 0.5 with a base of 0.5. There's 2 of these. Can you see that? Okay. It's actually this one here. Okay. And that's 90. And there's 2 of this with a base of 0.6. Did they give us the length of L1 and L2? Yes, I'm seeing. Where's the other part? Oh, the triangle will lie like this. If that is 0.5, this is going to be 0.25. This height here is going to be 0.8. Right. So L1, you just see this L1 and L2. It's actually L2. So L2 squared is equal to 0.8 squared plus 0.25 squared. Okay? So 0.8 squared plus 0.25 squared. The square root thereof. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so it's the root of 281 over 20. Okay? And then the other one has a base of 0.6 divided by 2 is 0.3. So L1 is going to be 0.3 squared. Zero comma 3 squared, sorry, plus 0.8 squared. So L1 works out to be
0.85.
0.85. Okay. So to work out the surface area here is going to be 2 rectangles, which is of base, which is 0.5 times the height. What's the height? L1. And L1 is 0.85. Plus, there are 2 triangles, which is of base, which is 0.6, times your perpendicular height, which is the root 281 over 20. Okay. So let me just do the substitution straight here. We're running out of time. It's going to be 2 times my length, 0.5, plus 2 times the breadth, which is 0.6, times the height, which is 2, plus the area of the base, which is 0.5, times 0.6. What does that work out to be? Sorry? Just check in the memo. 3.9. Is that for both? You guys are writing this as a test next week. I don't understand why you guys are not studying your work. If you don't do well, you don't know why. The 0.5 times 0.6 plus 2 times 0.5 times 0.5 times 0.85 plus that's 0.6 times the square root of 281 over 20. 5.6. Is that different to the memo? Huh? Let's just check here. See how far we. I'm just going to pause the video here and I don't want you guys to be late, very late for your next class. There I got 5.33.
Grade 9 taken, please.
Okay, it's different.
The 12th classroom for your
Okay, so I'm just going to pause it. The rest of the video I'll put post there. You guys can just have a look at it.
The 12th classroom.
Will you enjoy the rest of your day? Okay, for some reason the answer in the memo is different to what we have. So I'm just trying to figure out where the mistake is. Okay. So if we consider that to be 0.6, then this triangle here, which I draw now, this is your hypotenuse, of course. This is your perpendicular height here, which is 0.8, which I'm getting from here. That there is going to be 0.3, which is half. That's all the isosceles triangles. Okay? So that is going to be half. L1 belongs to this triangle. If I apply Pythagoras, this is L1. So L1 is 0.3 plus 0.8, so that is right. Then the L2, of course, is going the other way now. Okay? So let me just remove this here quickly. Alright, so L2, here's your L2. Of course, that's 0.8. Now this distance here is 0.25. Okay, as you can see here. So 0.8 squared plus 0.25 squared. And that gives me 8.38. So let's look at the memo and see which one is which on the memo. So they're saying L1 is 0.84. That's the mistake there. Okay. L1 is 0.85. So the mistake is here. Okay, this had to be flipped, switched around. Okay. So if I'm going with that, it's going to give you 0.25. So we're going to go perimeter of base, so it's going to be twice 0.5 plus twice 0.6, twice area of base times height. Your height is 2 meters plus the area of base, which is 0.5 times 0.6 plus twice. Now this area here is going to be 0.5, a half, base times height. So it's going to be a half, 0.5 times L1, 0.85, which I'm getting there, that's in order, times 2, because I had the one at the back as well. Then it's going to be 2 times a half. Now in this third triangle here, this one here, it's going to be a half, base which is 0.6 times your height, which is of course the root of 281 over 20. Alright, so that's that. If I punch this in the calculator, okay, so that's 838, so that's in order. So open brackets, 2 times 0.5 plus 2 times 0.6 times 2 plus 0.5 times 0.6 plus so this will cancel of course. So that's going to give us 0.5 times 0.85 plus, of course this again cancels, 0.6 times the square root, which is the last answer calculated there, gives us 5.63. 5.63. So therefore, for both, will simply be, take this off, will simply be 5.63 times 2, which is 11.26 centimeters, or in this case meters squared. Okay. I just must write that down. Let's change it on the memo. Okay. Sorry about that. Again, I didn't set this paper. So here again we are given the following set of numbers in ascending order. Ascending means smallest to biggest. Okay. The question says determine the value for x and y. Okay, determine the values of x and y if it's given that the mean and the mode of the data set is 7. So if they tell us the mode is 7, that means to say that x and y is never the same. Okay? The mode of the data set is 7 and the mean is also 7. Okay, so if the mean is 7, there's going to be 5 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 7 plus x plus y. And this is all over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 3 quarters 7. Okay. So 5 plus the mode is 7. There are 2 5s and 2 7s. So if the mode is 7, because 7 occurs twice and 5 occurs twice, the mode should have been 7 and 5 if 5 occurs twice and 7 occurs twice. So which means to say the mode is the number that occurs on most. Okay, so x has to be 7. Okay. So that has to be 7 here. For the mode to be 7. Okay, now I just need to calculate y. So we cross multiply here, so that's going to give you 10, 16, 16, 20, 30, 37. Plus y is equal to 49. So y is equal to 12. Okay. Let's check here. So it's going to be 5 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 times 3. 37. 49 minus that gives you 12. Okay. Right, so that basically brings us to the end of this paper. Sorry about the mistakes in the memo.